Creepers! What's up, you crazy creeps? It's Clearski and I'm back. How the heck are you guys? So today we are creeping around Portland, and just a couple days ago we went and visited the Lone Fir Cemetery. We've actually crept to a lot of cemeteries around Portland, but today we are actually headed towards the oldest cemetery in Portland, and it's also in one of the weirdest places, basically like right off the interstate, almost in a parking lot. There's like some abandoned stores, some Sears and stuff located by it, but it's actually a 165-year-old cemetery, and I'm going to show you guys where it sits. It's in such a weird spot, and yeah, it's going to be fun. I hope you guys are having a good little Halloween festivity so far and enjoying all the little spooky home haunts and cemeteries and stuff. But let's creep back here behind me, and then I'll show you guys where this place is, so stay tuned. So where I'm standing is basically right off of Northeast Prescott. If you guys can see directly across from me here, this whole entire lot has seen better days. This was once a really happening spot. This was the Big K, which is one of the Kmarts, and then over here was a Sears store for many years, but it's all abandoned. And if you can see, the freeway and everything split right here, with Sandy being on this side, and directly behind us where we're standing would be Northeast Prescott. So in between these two, almost three intersections, and then a freeway off-ramp, if you guys can see people coming through, or a freeway on-ramp to get this way. So we're gonna creep over here because it's, like I said, it's in a really weird spot, basically in between the off-ramp and this parking lot. So let's head over there now. So this gives us a little bit of better perspective. Sandy Boulevard, like I said, runs this way, and then there's all these little junctions, but there's this little island here, and not on this island, but the second one over is where we're headed, to the old, really odd cemetery in such an odd spot. But we're going to be cautious, so I'm going to go back around through here and go down Sandy, which we still have to cross Sandy to get to it. So like I said, it's just in such a weird spot. Let's go check it out. They've even constructed, like, I don't know, I think these were just put in by people constantly walking or biking through here. But like I said, it's probably not the wisest path. I could cross right here. Very safe route to get to because it's such an odd spot. You can see this little overpass here will put us right off into the cemetery, which like's probably the safest route. Like I said, you can access it from basically both sides. But I figured walking up this way, they're doing some construction up here. But if you can see, like I said, all that's in between the cemetery is this retaining wall, and then on both sides, incredibly busy thoroughfare. But we're going to creep right into here. Like I said, this is the oldest cemetery. This is the Powell Grove Cemetery. Just basically in the middle of nowhere. Like, look at this one, not too far from the main freeway. All of these, really. And if you can see ahead of us there, that was the abandoned Kmart. We were just right over here on the opposite side looking over. But I wanted to just kind of take you guys here and show you some of these old headstones. Like I said, a 165-year-old cemetery, so. Wow, here's a big one. Looks like an entire family plot. The Reynolds. Boy, that's a giant marker. You got to see most of these really old, 1850, 1877, 1880. But basically, right on the opposite side here sits this freeway, And all that's there now is just some bushes and stuff, and then on the opposite side would be the freeway. So definitely just a really weird place to be buried. It's quite beautiful because it is quite quaint. But if you can see, it's really small, not much to it. As we were standing right there on that little trail, like I said, you can see that it's basically just all road. And then as far as the cemetery goes basically right over to that parking lot. So the only thing that's separating the cemetery from that parking lot is just that little road right there. Crazy. As I walk out here to the edge, you can see all the tombstones and stuff behind me here. But like I said, all that separates us here in the parking lot is this little intersection here, and then they've got the abandoned Kmart and everything behind us. So I wouldn't necessarily say in a parking lot, but pretty darn close. And not to mention, you know, you're basically surrounded at all points by major thoroughways, if not on-ramps and off-ramps. So just a weird place to be. Like I said, you know, this is a cemetery that they wanted to, in fact, they wanted to move a lot of these graves, and the city said absolutely not. They wanted to move a lot of these up to the Douglas Fir Cemetery up in Sandy, the other pioneer cemetery, and the city said no, definitely not. So they just basically worked with this, and I believe this land is now protected to where, you know, obviously nothing could be moved here. There's actually some graves here not too long ago, so you can see that it's still being utilized. People are still being buried here. It's not like it's just for the facts of being pioneers and historical and stuff like that. There's definitely some newer headstones. So I knew it was small. It seemed like basically like a little island from afar. And it's quite quaint, quite a little quaint cemetery. It's beautiful. And, you know, it's crazy to think that after all the construction and everything that's happened here throughout the years, with the revamping and everything, they've basically kept it how it is. So it's good to see some things don't get messed with over the years, and people basically do their best to keep people's memories alive. In fact, there's actually some graves here from recent, so it's not just a pioneer cemetery or historical cemetery. There's people that have been recently laid to rest here, so pretty interesting. And I believe Powell Grove, we've got the Powell family here. And then it looks like there's a couple other people. It's really hard to make out on the tombstone itself. You can see the indentations. This one looks like it says Martha Powell. And then you can just barely make out the Powell. But from what I've seen on a previous vlog at Steve the Amateur Historians channel, I believe these are the Powell family, hence the name. And here's it's really hard to make out other than the moss. John Powell. Interesting. So I'm glad to see that people's graves and things weren't moved or harmed, and that this place can hold its history for many years to come. So definitely just an interesting place to be in the middle of two off-ramps, a freeway, and a parking lot. It's crazy. Boy, this parking lot is enormous too. If you guys can see, this whole entire lot, all the way around, nothing. And at one point this place was really full of people. I remember this was the Big K, and then they had a Sears like outlet store over here, and if you can see, it's all abandoned and boarded up now. But I wanted to give you guys a perspective from over here what the cemetery looks like from over on this side. But I also wanted to just kind of creep up here a bit and video this old Kmart, or Big K really. This was like when Kmart decided to carry grocery as well. I believe that's why they changed their name to Big K. But if you can see now, there's boarded up doors and windows. It's definitely seen better days. I can't even see where on some of them you can see like the ghost sign where the signage used to be, but this one can't really see. Super quiet out here too. But here is the view from the parking lot on the opposite side. That's where we were just at when we crossed. And there's the cemetery right there on Sandy. So like I said, definitely just a weird spot. Like I said, the parking lot goes all the way out, so you kind of are almost in a parking lot. I love you guys very much for tuning in. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Actually it's my 40th birthday tomorrow, so we got some birthday vlogging to do. But I love you guys very much, and that's gonna do it from the oldest cemetery in Portland. Basically in a parking lot, if not an intersection, or off the interstate really, or an off-ramp, on-ramp, however you would say it. But I love you guys very much. Make sure you guys hit that bell, that way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. But until next time, Creeper out for now. Peace, you guys.